Hello again, I'm Dr. Nunez with Living Health. In the previous video, I discussed brain health and what you can do with diet, with nutrition, as one component within lifestyle to improve brain health and maybe prevent some of these things like dementia or problems that can lead to aphasia that we discussed before, which the actor Bruce Willis has that diagnosis now. I mentioned in that video the mind diet, and in this video I wanted to go and explore that a little bit more with you and see what you can do and see if that is something that suits your lifestyle. Again, this is a series of videos on lifestyle medicine. These are things that you can do for yourself that improve your health in the long run. Decisions you make on a daily basis on how you live your life that can improve your health and your well-being. If you like these kinds of videos, press that thumbs up, press the subscribe button, and press the little bell for further notifications. Leave a comment, it's always appreciated. So getting into the mind diet. What is the mind diet? M-I-N-D, mind. Well, it's a rather complicated acronym. It's a combination of the Mediterranean diet with the DASH diet that I've mentioned before in a different video. It's the Mediterranean dash intervention for neurodegenerative delay. That's where they get the MIND acronym from. So Mediterranean dash is one thing, intervention is the I for neurodegenerative delay. Neurodegenerative are those conditions that degenerate the brain and affect the mind. And the idea is to delay the onset of those kinds of things. So they include things like dementia. So what is the Mediterranean dash diet combination? Well, in the Mediterranean diet, you eat basically a lot of plants, less processed foods, cereals, vegetables, beans, which are legumes, fruits, nuts, fish, and less of things like meat, milk, dairy, those kinds of things. And they do drink alcohol, wine. So the Mediterraneans do include wine in their routine. And what does the DASH diet do? Again, it's plant heavy, vegetable heavy, and it uses low fat dairy in the DASH. And it does have the whole grains. It includes fish, it includes some poultry, nuts and things like that, and it does reduce the red meats and fats and sugars and sugar containing drinks and the like, including fruit juices. So when you combine the two, what you get is the mind, and the emphasis in the mind diet within the vegetable world is the green leafy vegetables. Other vegetables are also acceptable, but you have to be careful with the starchy root vegetables, which are very quickly converted, those white starches in particular in the body, to sugar. The other thing within the fruit world that they emphasize is the berries. And the berries, you have the flavonoids, which are these substances which give berries their beautiful colors. Well, that seems to help somewhat in delaying the onset of dementia and in brain health. Within that world, whole grains. So when you eat grain products, be they rice or other grains like wheat-based things, it's best to go with the whole grain. The whole grain gives you the fiber. It's not as refined, not as processed. Otherwise, if you do white rice, if you do white flour products, those things are also very quickly converted into sugar in the body. And then the other thing about the oils, the fats that they try to use olive oil, not saturated fats. And they get the omega-3s from the fishes. So in this kind of diet, they do allow you to eat fish. It's not a vegan program. For those of you that are vegan, you can get your omega-3s from flaxseed. It is available, and flaxseed also gives you the added fiber. What are the things to avoid? Red meat. As we've talked before, red meat, if you could limit it to once a week, and within the red meat, my thoughts are to go with the grass-fed, grass-finished, pastured red meat. And you have to be careful with that. I've mentioned it in other videos that sometimes it may say grass-fed, but then because the cattle spends most of its life on pasture, on grass. But if it spends the last few months on feedlot where they're feeding it grain and sweet feed that's been sweetened with molasses or things like that to fatten up the animal, that's not grass finished, and that will change the fat structure of the animal. It will fatten them quicker. So that's probably not what you want. So when you look at those labels, grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised for its life, if that's what you're going to do. Otherwise, you can just avoid the red meat. Within the seafood, yes, it is the fish that's going to be the healthier component. And again, I'm going to quote down from below, I'm going to list below the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and they will give you a breakdown of what you can do and what things to point out. I'm also going to link to a Harvard publication where they have a nice little graphic, and I'll put it up for you too, on the 5 foods for better brain power. And it's the same kind of thing, the green veggies, fatty fish, we're talking about salmon, tuna, those kinds of things. I'd be careful with tuna. Yes, tuna are these large fish that may harbor some mercury content. So it's something to be a little bit more cautious with and go more with the salmon side or with the smaller tuna like bonito varieties if you're going to have that. And again, for those of you that are vegan or vegetarian, you don't have to have the fish. You can get omega-3s from plant sources as well. Within here on the Harvard diagram, they'll show you berries, and again, it's for the same reason. Harvard also mentions tea and coffee because some of those things may have certain chemicals in them which will help mental function. And caffeine is a stimulant. It might help you in that respect. Within the nuts, the Harvard program emphasizes walnuts, and that's okay. Be careful with excessive amounts of nuts. You don't want to just take a whole can of nuts and eat it over the course of a day. Nuts are high in protein and high in fat, and because of that fat, you're going to get a lot of calories, so you don't want to go overboard on the calories either. I'm also going to list below a publication from Mayo, which gives you a nice breakdown of what the Mediterranean diet is and how things to avoid and things to emphasize. But I think we've covered most of those. The last thing I did want to leave you with is this issue of alcohol. I have other videos on that, but I do want to mention, yes, the Mediterranean diet includes a glass or a cup of some kind of wine, perhaps once a day. And there is some evidence that the one glass a day may help. If you do not drink, please don't start. There is no need. There's not that preponderance of evidence that'll to recommend that you take up alcohol if you do not drink. So don't do that. If you do drink, moderation is okay. 1 drink a day with a meal, or 1 drink up to 2 drinks possibly. For larger men, maybe you can go as high as 3 drinks on a special occasion or something like that. That may be possible. Again, if you have an issue with alcohol, if you're an alcoholic, don't drink. If you do not drink, don't start. So I did want to leave you with that caveat on that. If you like these kinds of videos, press that thumbs up, press the subscribe button, press the little bell, and leave a comment. It's always appreciated. Again, these are all about things you can do for yourself. Things that, decisions you make on a daily basis that do impact your health and your well-being. This kind of diet has been shown to decrease the odds of developing dementia and other neurodegenerative diseases of the brain. So if you can do that, I would tell you that that may be a good thing to try and at least explore and research on your own. These are things you have control over. Again, I'll leave you with that. And until next time, I'm Dr. Nunez with Living Health. Bye-bye.